Hello and welcome to the video lecture series brought to you by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. We are discussing the subject called Object Technologies and Programming with Java. And my name is Ravinder. I am an assistant professor with ETC department. And today we are going to start dealing with our first object-oriented language, that is Java. So the topic for today's lecture is Introduction to Java. So we'll peek into Java language and see how Java actually implements the main paradigms of OOPS and the building blocks of OOPS, how they take shape while using Java, or how we can realize the basic building blocks of our OOPS paradigm using Java language. Okay, so let's head back to the notes and I'll also show you an example then. Now we begin our study of Java by understanding the basics like the keywords, identifiers, and literals. We also study the simple data types via like integers, floats, and characters, the different types of operators supported by the Java. Okay, so let's try to write a small program. And as you can see here, I have listed a small program here. Now, every Java application must consist of a class which actually in-houses the main method. Okay, like in your C, we have different functions, but one function must be your main function. Likewise here in Java, there let's say you have 100 classes in your project, in your application, and you have thousands of objects you have instantiated. But at the end of the day, there must be one class in which there must be one main method, and that main method will be the first thread from where the compiler will start looking to your application. By thread, I means one execution line. Okay. So let's see our first code of Java. So in every Java code, it basically consists of classes. So the first, we'll see how to write a class in Java. So the class in Java is written by using the keyword class itself. Okay. So class and then name of the class. Now it's common convention to state the name of the class with capital letter. First letter at least must be of capital letter. That is called camel case notation. Okay, for classes, the first letter of your name of the class must be in capitals. Okay, so keep that thing in mind. That is the common convention. And for methods, first letter is small, and if the letter consists of more than one words, then the subsequent words will start without space using first letter as capital. I will show you in a minute. I am trying to say here, but that is the common convention. Keep that thing in mind. So class is instantiated here or created here using the keyword class. The name of the class is first, and inside the curly braces we will have our content of the class. Okay, now as I have told you, this is our very basic example, and we have already discussed that in that very basic example also, for a compiler to look our application, there must be one main method. So that is why we have created a method called main. Now forget about all these things. I'm going to talk about them in a little while now. First, you must see how a method is created in Java. Now it is almost same. Let me create. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so the class is created using the class keyword, and let's say first and then the curly braces. Okay, now this is a JavaScript file. Let me switch it to Java file. So there it is. Okay, now inside this I have to create a method. Now common methods are created just by the return type. Okay, name of the method. Okay, then there will be brackets. These are called argument bracket arguments, or simply put, say arguments. And then the body of the method. So this is your basic, and then semicolon. So this is your very basic, let's say, uh, notation or signature of your method. So first you will state what is the return type. That is, if a method has been called. So method is a small body, let me first tell you, which is used to create some particular task. Let's suppose it is used to create a task, that is, if you provide it with two numbers, it is going to sum them up and return you the result of that sum. So in that case, your method is going to return you of a numerical value that could either be integer or either could be float. So return type would be the type of the data that method is going to return to you when you have called that particular method. Okay, in this case, it could be integer type or it could be float or double type. Okay, then the name of the method. Name of the method could be of your choice. Now, I have told you about the camel case notation. Now, this is how it is done. Suppose the method is to do uh, to do writing. Let's say this is the name of the method. So first letter will be small. Then, because it is made up of few words, that is to and do and writing, so the next word will start with its capital alphabet capital. Then subsequent words will start with their first alphabet as capital. So the W of writing will be in caps. So this is how you write the name in camel case notation. So this is your method name. Now these are the arguments. Now arguments is the data which is required by the method to process what it is actually trying to process. Or uh, let's say, sorry, okay, I think I have omitted everything. Oh, doesn't matter. Let me write one. Let's say int, and the name is again to do writing, and let's say argument is int a, comma int b, and then body, and inside the body I can write something like int result is equal to 1, and then result is equal to a plus b, and then return result. So this is your basic method, which actually takes two integer numerals. These are called argument. This is the data which is required by your method to process something. Okay, this is the data required by your method to process something. Without it, your method will be helpless. Okay, so you must keep in mind. Now these are optionals. Your method could be such that it doesn't require any data. It has to do what it has to do. That is entirely up to you. In the subsequent lectures throughout this course, we'll see examples where method doesn't require any arguments. And sometimes your method doesn't even return anything. Maybe it is called to just print a single line, which has already been hard coded in there. Okay, so it is entirely up to you how you want to write your method. So the return type, the name, the arguments. Inside the argument, let's focus on the arguments first. The arguments must be stated with their type. Now the argument A, that is the data A, is of type integer, and argument B is of type integer. So both A and B are of type integer. Now I have created a variable here of type result, sorry, of name result of type integer. We have not talked about the data yet, but just keep this thing in mind, that variable is created. I think you have already seen that in your C++. So you people are more than familiar. And then the result is calculated as the addition of argument A and argument B. and then whatever be the value that be assigned to the result is returned by this method. So when the method to do writing is called, it is going to return you something, and that return value is the result value, and that result value is actually integer variable. So that is why before the name of the method I have written int, because it signifies the return type of the method. That is the data it is going to return back. What is the type of that data? Is it either character, it is either float, it is either integer or a string or an array or whatever it is. So this is how you write your methods inside Java. We'll again get into this. I just want to show you how a simple method has been created in your Java language. So let's get back to the notes. Now we have written in there few specific words, that is public, static, void, main. And inside these curly braces, the body of the method consists of only one statement, that is system.out.println, and the string has been passed as my first program in Java. And let me tell you, like in C and C++, every statement in Java also terminates with a semicolon. So don't forget to put semicolon there. Okay. So system.out.println is your standard console output statement, which actually outputs some value which you have passed to this particular method, that is system.out.println, to the Java. You don't need to call any other library to use this particular function, because it is actually inbuilt in your Java package. So you don't need to call specifically any other library, although it is it has been assigned to a particular package, but you don't need to mention that in your code. Okay, so I think you have got the point. Coming back to this public static void main, you must remember this public from our last lecture. We have discussed about it to the we have discussed about it for our sake that in the let's say in not polymorphism but in encapsulation, that public is a access modifier. It means this method is public, it can be seen, it is accessible to the any class, any other method, any other property which may or may not be in this package. Okay, so that is why it has been made public. Next is let me first skip this static and let's jump on to void first. Now void means null, nothing. So what it is telling me that the method is going to return you nothing at all. As you can see, this method is only going to print one, still only going to print this particular string onto your console. It only consists of one output statement, so it is not going to return you anything. So that is why if your function or your method is not going to return you anything, you can type it, if you can type its return type as void. As I've shown you in the a few minutes ago, the example, I have typed the return type as integer. In that case, the method is actually returning an integer value. But in this case, your method is not returning anything. So this is your access modifier public. This is your return type void. Main is the name of the method. Let me again tell you, one method in one class of your entire project must contain a method called as main, which must have this particular signature, exactly this signature, exactly like this. Okay, it must not be different, otherwise your compiler will fail to acknowledge the main method. Okay, so you must remember it by heart. Public static void main, and inside the argument brackets you have inputted a parameter called string. That is a string array, nothing but a string type of array. You must be familiar with the string. This my first program in Java is a string. So there's a string array. These are the methods like initial details like metadata in JavaScript, which sometimes your coders like to pass on before starting on the application. That is the version of the application and all that. Okay, so you need not to worry about it. Just remember it as it is now, for now at least. Let me get back to you to the last statement, last keyword which you have left. intentionally, that is static. As I have told you before, every class can be accessed only by its object. Class is just a blueprint. You can use that class only after instantiating its object. Now, as you can see, the object must be created somewhere. Okay, and that somewhere is actually your main method. But what about when actually you want to access the main method, or a compiler want to access the main method in a class, and as you know, you cannot create the object of a class somewhere else, because the first thing that your compiler is going to look for is the main method, and it cannot look anywhere else before that. So if it is not going to look anywhere else, how it is going to find the object of the class in which your main method is? So that is a stalemate, that is a problem actually. So for that, the method is being termed as static. It means this method can be accessed by the compiler without creating its object. Let me again iterate you. This method can be accessed by the compiler without creating its object. This line that I have told you is not entirely correct, but for now it is more than sufficient to understand what I am trying to say. So this method, which has been stated as static, can be used by your compiler without creating the object of class first. So in that way, the problem that everything is going to start from the main method, and your compiler is only going to look into that main method first without looking at anywhere else, is solved, because now it can look into the main method without using the help of the object of the class in which it is actually created. Okay, so I'm going to end this lecture now. In the next lecture we will dive deep into it. Thank you.